ये आकाशवाणी है। अब आप कनकलता से समाचार सुनिए। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी और श्रीलंका के राष्ट्रपति गोटाभया राजपक्षे आज नई दिल्ली में वार्ता करेंगे। वार्ता के दौरान दोनों देशों के बीच सहयोग बढ़ाने और आपसी संबंध मजबूत करने के तौर तरीकों पर चर्चा की संभावना है। श्री गोटाभया राष्ट्रपति रामनाथ कोविंद से भी मुलाकात करेंगे। श्रीलंका के राष्ट्रपति भारत की 3 दिन की सरकारी यात्रा पर कल शाम नई दिल्ली पहुंचे। कोलंबो से रवाना होने से पहले श्री राजपक्षे ने कहा कि उन्हें प्रधानमंत्री और भारत सरकार के साथ आपसी संबंध और मजबूत होने की उम्मीद है। विदेश मंत्रालय के प्रवक्ता रवीश कुमार ने कहा कि दोनों देशों के बीच संबंध सदियों से फले फूले हैं। उन्होंने कहा कि प्रधानमंत्री के निमंत्रण पर श्री राजपक्षे की यात्रा से दोनों देशों के संबंधों की मजबूती और गतिशीलता का पता चलता है। विदेश मंत्री एस जयशंकर ने कहा है कि भारत ने विदेश नीति के निर्वहन में अपनी स्वतंत्रता और स्वायत्तता हमेशा बनाए रखी है और सुनिश्चित किया है कि ये राष्ट्रहित से निर्धारित हो। वे कल राज्यसभा में राष्ट्रपति, उपराष्ट्रपति और प्रधानमंत्री की हाल की विदेश यात्राओं के संदर्भ में देश की विदेश नीति को बढ़ावा देने के सरकार के प्रयासों पर वक्तव्य दे रहे थे। उन्होंने कहा कि एनडीए सरकार के कार्यकाल के पहले 6 महीनों में भारत ने पड़ोसी पहले की नीति पर बल दिया और सभी प्रमुख देशों के साथ संबंधों को मजबूत किया। उन्होंने बताया कि भारत ने खाड़ी देशों, दक्षिण पूर्व एशिया और अफ्रीकी देशों के साथ संबंधों को विस्तार देने का भी प्रयास किया। शिवसेना नेता उद्धव ठाकरे ने कल महाराष्ट्र के मुख्यमंत्री पद की शपथ लेने के बाद मुंबई के सह्याद्री गेस्ट हाउस में मंत्रिमंडल की पहली बैठक की। मुख्यमंत्री ने रायगढ़ किले में छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की राजधानी के पुनर्निर्माण के लिए 20 करोड़ रुपए मंजूर किए जाने की घोषणा की। श्री ठाकरे ने कहा कि वे किसानों की मदद के लिए चलाई जा रही राज्य और केंद्र सरकार की सभी योजनाओं के कार्यान्वयन की जमीनी स्थिति की जांच करेंगे। झारखंड में विधानसभा चुनाव के पहले चरण की तैयारियां पूरी हो गई हैं। इस चरण में चतरा, पलामू, गुमला, गढ़वा, लातेहार और लोहरदगा जिलों के 13 निर्वाचन क्षेत्रों में कल मतदान होगा। नक्सल प्रभावित क्षेत्रों के सभी निर्वाचन क्षेत्रों में व्यापक सुरक्षा प्रबंध किए गए हैं। मतदान सुबह 7 बजे से शाम 3 बजे तक चलेगा। झारखंड के मुख्य चुनाव अधिकारी विनय कुमार चौबे ने आकाशवाणी से बातचीत में कहा कि सभी निर्वाचन क्षेत्रों में पहली बार टोकन सिस्टम का प्रयोग किया जा रहा है। उन्होंने बताया कि अब मतदाताओं को वोट डालने के लिए लंबी कतारों में खड़े होने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। गृह मंत्री अमित शाह आज लखनऊ में 47वें अखिल भारतीय पुलिस विज्ञान सम्मेलन के समापन सत्र को संबोधित करेंगे। पुद्दुचेरी की उपराज्यपाल किरण बेदी ने कल 2 दिन के सम्मेलन का उद्घाटन किया था। विभिन्न राज्यों और केंद्र शासित प्रदेशों के पुलिस अधीक्षक से लेकर महानिदेशक स्तर के पुलिस अधिकारी सम्मेलन में हिस्सा ले रहे हैं। इसके अलावा सीबीआई, सीआरपीएफ और बीएसएफ सहित केंद्रीय एजेंसियां तथा शिक्षाविद और फोरेंसिक विशेषज्ञ भी सम्मेलन में भाग ले रहे हैं। तेलंगाना सरकार ने कहा है कि सड़क परिवहन निगम के सभी हड़ताली कर्मचारियों को आज बिना शर्त काम पर ले लिया जाएगा। मुख्यमंत्री के चंद्रशेखर राव ने कल हैदराबाद में मंत्रिमंडल की बैठक के बाद ये घोषणा की। उन्होंने आरोप लगाया कि कर्मचारी संघ के नेताओं और विपक्षी दलों ने राज्य परिवहन निगम के कर्मचारियों को गुमराह किया है। उन्होंने कहा कि परिवहन निगम को 1 अरब रुपए राहत के रूप में दिए जाएंगे। उन कर्मचारियों के परिवार के सदस्यों को नौकरी दी जाएगी जिनकी 52 दिन की हड़ताल के दौरान मृत्यु हो गई थी। अल्बानिया में भूकंप से मरने वालों की संख्या 46 हो गई है। एड्रियाटिक तट क्षेत्र के पास मंगलवार को आए 6.4 तीव्रता के भूकंप से इमारतें ध्वस्त हो गई हैं। अल्बानिया में कई दशकों में ये सबसे भीषण भूकंप था। मलबा हटाने में मदद के लिए यूरोप से विशेषज्ञ पहुंच रहे हैं। बैंकॉक में 21वीं एशियाई तीरंदाजी प्रतियोगिता में व्यक्तिगत रिकर्व मुकाबले में दीपिका कुमारी ने स्वर्ण और अंकिता भगत ने रजत पदक हासिल किया है। इससे पहले दोनों ने सेमीफाइनल में पहुंचकर व्यक्तिगत ओलंपिक कोटा हासिल कर लिया। इसके साथ ही ये समाचार बुलेटिन समाप्त हुआ।
I am Renu Kataria.
The headlines. Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa reaches New Delhi on a 3-day visit to India. US President Donald Trump says US has resumed talks with Taliban. Former President of Maldives Abdullah Yameen found guilty of money laundering. And Supreme Court of Pakistan grants 6-month conditional extension to Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa will hold talks at Hyderabad House in New Delhi today. Both leaders are likely to discuss areas of cooperation and ways to strengthen existing bilateral relations between the two countries. The Sri Lankan President will later call on President Ramnath Kovind. Mr. Rajapaksa arrived in the national capital last evening on a 3-day state visit to India. The visiting dignitary will be accorded a ceremonial reception on the forecourts of Rashtrapati Bhavan this morning. This is Mr. Rajapaksa's first overseas visit after assuming office. Before his departure from Colombo, Mr. Gotabaya tweeted that during the visit he is looking forward to strengthening bilateral relations with Narendra Modi and the Government of India. Following his arrival in New Delhi, Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Ravish Kumar in a tweet said that it is a civilizational relationship nurtured through millennia. He said the President's visit at the Prime Minister's invitation demonstrates the strength and dynamism of India-Sri Lanka relations. The visit is also a manifestation of India's neighbourhood first policy, and External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar was the first foreign dignitary to meet new Sri Lankan President last week.
The visit of the Sri Lankan President is manifestation of India's neighbourhood first policy. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar was first foreign dignitary to meet the new Sri Lankan President last week. India is one of the largest investors in Sri Lanka with cumulative investments of around $1.2 billion. The investments are in diverse areas including petroleum retail, IT, financial services, real estate, telecommunication, hospitality and tourism, banking and food processing. Sri Lanka is among the major recipients of development assistance from India. India's overall commitment stands close to $3 billion, out of which around $560 million are purely in grants. Sarabjit Kaur, News Desk.
US President Donald Trump said that the United States has resumed talks with Taliban as he made an unannounced trip to Afghanistan to celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday with US troops. In his first trip to the site of America's longest war, Trump arrived at Bagram airfield last evening and spent more than 2.5 hours on the ground. He thanked the troops and met Afghan President Ashraf Ghani. He told reporters that the Taliban wants to make a deal and they are meeting with them. President Trump said he has restarted peace negotiations with Taliban after it was scuttled in September. US President reaffirmed his desire to reduce the American troop presence in Afghanistan to 8,600, down from about 13,000. Trump ran his 2016 campaign promising to end the nation's endless wars. Tens of thousands of Afghan civilians and more than 2,400 American service members have been killed since the war began 18 years ago. Mr. Trump's visit happened weeks after the Taliban freed 2 Western academics who had been held hostage since 2016 in exchange for 3 imprisoned senior militants. In Pakistan, the Supreme Court has granted 6-month conditional extension to Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa. According to media reports, a 3-member bench of the Apex Court in its short order directed the government to bring necessary legislation within 6 months. Bajwa's original 3-year tenure was set to expire last night. He can now continue as the Army Chief for another 6 months. Prime Minister Khan, through an official notification of August 19, granted a 3-year extension to General Bajwa. The Pakistan's government withdrew the August 19 orders after the top court's observations in the case and issued a fresh notification which was also rejected by the court on Wednesday.
In Pakistan, a special court allowed former President Pervez Musharraf until December 5th to record his statement in the high treason case against him. The court also made it clear that it will only accept the Supreme Court's directives and was not bound by the Islamabad High Court's order. The Islamabad High Court on Wednesday stopped the special court from issuing the verdict with instructions to hear out all the parties to ensure a fair trial. The high treason trial of the former military dictator for clamping the state of emergency, filed during the previous Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz government, has been pending since 2013. The Anti-Corruption Commission (ACC) of Bangladesh has imposed a ban on foreign travel by the Bangladesh Cricket Board (BCB) director Mahbubul Anam. The ACC, in its letter sent to the immigration police yesterday, asked not to allow Anam to leave the country in view of allegations of corruption being investigated against him. The BCB director is accused of bribery and money laundering of more than 60 crore taka. He is facing charges of manipulating tenders to favor some contractors and tampering with sponsor selection process. Another director of BCB, Lokman Hussain Bhuiya, is facing charges of unlawful possession of alcohol and running an illegal casino. He was arrested by Rapid Action Battalion in September this year. Mahbubul Anam has also been the vice president of the Bangladesh Cricket Board. His association with BCB goes back to more than 25 years. In Maldives, former President Abdullah Yameen has been found guilty of money laundering and sentenced to 5 years in prison. The 5-judge bench of criminal court unanimously concurred that Yameen is guilty on the charge of laundering state funds for personal gains. He was accused of over $1 million deposit in his bank account by a company that was used to channel resort acquisition fees. The bench ruled that former president, while in office, violated an agreement signed with the Anti-Corruption Commission to hold the money in an escrow account. The court also fined the 60-year-old opposition leader with $5 million. Opposition supporters protested near the court, carrying placards condemning the trial as politically motivated and accusing the government of hijacking the judiciary. Speaking at a gathering outside his party office last night, Mr. Yameen warned supporters to beware of people who might take over the opposition coalition if he is sent to prison. He served as Maldives president from 2013 to 2018 when he lost his re-election bid last year. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates, visit our News on AIR app and follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. You can also visit our website www.newsonair.com and our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You're listening to our program Prime Meridian, where we bring you news from across the globe.
In Iraq, at least 28 protesters were killed in a firing incident by security forces in the southern city of Nasiriyah yesterday. Security forces fired on protesters blocking 2 bridges in Nasiriyah before dawn. Yesterday's incident came a day after protesters set fire to 2 government buildings and the home of a lawmaker in the city. The protesters also burned down the Iranian consulate in the shrine city of Najaf. After the protesters' deaths, Prime Minister Adel Abdel Mahdi has sacked military commander Jamil Shumari, who was sent to restore order in protest-hit southern city. More than 380 people have been killed and thousands wounded in nearly 2 months of protests. The capital Baghdad and southern Iraq have been gripped by the largest grassroots protest against the entire political class and rampant corruption since the US-led invasion that toppled Saddam Hussein in 2003. On the sidelines of the official visit of Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, Crown Prince, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Defense of Saudi Arabia to the UAE, Mohammed Jalal Al Rayasi, Executive Director of the Emirates News Agency of the UAE, WAM, and Abdullah bin Fahd Al Hussein, President of the Saudi Press Agency, SPA, signed an MOU to promote media and news exchanges between the two agencies. The MOU was signed at WAM's headquarters in Abu Dhabi yesterday. The MOU comes under the umbrella of the Joint Committee for Media Cooperation, one of the committees of the Saudi Emirati Coordination Council, which aims to implement joint initiatives to ensure content development, capacity building, and relationships between media agencies and institutions. The MOU aims to develop and enhance media strategies and activate joint programs, plans and initiatives that will meet the aspirations of the leaderships and peoples of the two countries. It also aims to strengthen the cooperation and promote news exchange between the two agencies, as well as exchange media experiences and content, utilize information and support cultural and media rapprochement. It also stipulates the drafting of a joint digital plan between the two parties, the exchange of information, digital content and archive content, the launch of joint training programs, and the exchange of internal professional expertise to attract talents through a training package for technical and administrative staff. Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have discussed to develop the planned mega crude refinery in Maharashtra at an initial cost of $70 billion. It will have a capacity of 1.2 million barrels per day integrated with a modern petrochemical complex. Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi and Deputy Supreme Commander of the UAE Armed Forces, and Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz, Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Defense, jointly presided over the second meeting of Saudi Emirati Coordination Council in Abu Dhabi. The two oil-rich nations discussed ways and means to secure the supply of at least 600,000 barrels per day of Saudi and Emirati crude oil for Indian market. The meeting comes as part of efforts by Saudi and UAE to activate all aspects of cooperation that leads to full integration in economy, knowledge and human development and military. The UAE and Saudi Arabia signed 4 MOUs during the meeting and reviewed 7 strategic ties. Saudi Prince is currently on a state visit to UAE.
The Golden Jubilee edition of International Film Festival of India IFFI culminated in Goa yesterday. The festival saw screening of 300 films of various languages from India and abroad for delegates from different parts of the world. The IFFI was awarded the ICFT UNESCO Fellini Medal at the closing ceremony, which was received by Information and Broadcasting Secretary Amit Khare and Director of Festivals Chaitanya Prasad. Governor of Goa Satyapal Malik, Chief Minister of Goa Dr. Pramod Sawant, Union Minister Babul Supriyo and others were present on the occasion. A report.
The 50th edition of the International Film Festival of India in Goa was a momentous occasion from the point of view of film festivals of India. The event saw an overwhelming participation of students from different institutes of filmmaking, people from film fraternity, and those from other walks of life. Apart from movies, the 9-day-long festival had different sessions like master classes, in-conversation sessions, press conferences by renowned personalities from the world of cinema. Felicitation of stalwarts from the film fraternity was done on the occasion, which included musical maestro Ilayaraja, veteran actor Prem Chopra, Manju Bora, Arvind Swamy, and Pandit Vishnu Maharaj. The panel of jury was also felicitated on the occasion. Talking about the awards, the Best Film Award was backed by Particles, directed by Blaise Harrison. The Best Director Award went to Lijo Jose Pellicer for his film Calicut 2. Best Actors Award to Theo Jorge for the film Marighella. Best Actress to Usha Jadhav for Marathi film My Ghat. Special Jury Award was given away to Prema Siddhan's Balloon. Abhishek Shah's National Award-winning film Hilaru won the Special Mention Award, whereas the Best Debut Film was backed by Monsters and Abu Leela. The ICFT's UNESCO Gandhi Medal Award was given to Rwanda, directed by Riccardo Salvetti. ICFT's UNESCO Special Mention Award was given away to Bahadur Huren, a film directed by Sanjay Puran. Even as this year's IFFI brought some amazing and classic films, but a sense of curiosity has also been created as next year's IFFI will be focused around the legend of Indian cinema, Satyajit Ray. The year 2020-21 is the centenary year of Ray, and some of his classic works will surely come as treat to the hundreds and thousands of cine enthusiasts. Kunal Shinde for Aaj Savare from Panji, Goa.
In Sudan, authorities have ordered that the party of ousted President Umar al-Bashir be dissolved and all its properties be confiscated. Bashir and his Islamist National Congress Party had ruled the country since June 30th, 1989, before a nationwide protest movement resulted in him being deposed earlier this year. The country's ruling Sovereign Council and the cabinet, led by Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok, made the decision to dissolve the party, issuing a law titled Dismantling of the Regime of 30th June 1989. Hamdok wrote on Twitter that dissolution of the party was not a revenge against the former rulers and it aims to preserve the dignity of the people. He also said this decree aims to recover the plundered wealth of the people. Thousands of Sudanese rallied late last month in several cities, urging the new authorities to dissolve the former ruling party.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates, visit our News on Air app and follow us on Twitter at Air News Alerts. You can also visit our website www.newsonair.com and our YouTube channel News on Air Official. You are listening to our program Prime Meridian, where we bring you news from across the globe. In Albania, the death toll has risen to 46 in earthquake. The 6.4 magnitude quake, the deadliest in decades, tore down buildings near the Adriatic coast where people were sleeping on Tuesday morning. Experts from around Europe have arrived to help shovel away slabs of collapsed apartments and search beneath the wreckage with dogs and specialized cameras. Captain Joël Leroy, a French rescuer, said there may be hope for up to 8 or 10 days for victims to live after an earthquake. Emergency workers are working in perilous conditions as hundreds of aftershocks rattle buildings, interrupting the efforts. Thousands of people have been displaced either because their homes were severely damaged or because they were still unsafe due to the continuing aftershocks. Prime Minister Edi Rama has promised to rehouse the newly homeless by next year. Illegal construction is rife in Albania, one of Europe's poorest countries. As the weather becomes more pleasant, tourists from all parts of the world are flocking to Dubai to enjoy the sun and the sand along with the flavors of the souks or the local marketplaces. Our Dubai correspondent has the details.
While Dubai is mostly associated with glitzy malls, high-rise buildings and everything that is fancy, very few are familiar with the traditional market of spices in the heart of old Dubai. Brace yourself on a sensory journey as I take you to the spice market, popularly known as the spice souk. Souk is an integral part of Arabic life and gives a glimpse into their culture and way of life. Spice souk will definitely add an Arabic flavor to your journey. Near the Gold Souk, it is one of the oldest souks with mounds of colorful spices, dried aromatic flowers and fruits which are beautifully arranged in open sacks. It is an opportunity to see many of the spices, herbs and minerals in its original form, such as sulfur, which are used by some for healing of skin problems, dried rose buds, indigo, amber, cinnamon sticks, camellia flowers, dried hibiscus flowers, sumac, cardamom, turmeric, thyme, cloves, cinnamon, chili, cumin seeds, nutmegs and pepper of all colors and varieties can be seen on display here. One of the most expensive spices you will find here is oud, an aromatic wood, and saffron. But not everything sold is meant for cooking. Some of them have medicinal values and can be used during cough, cold, or mixed in oil to reduce body pain. Products are usually imported from other countries and sold here. Take a walk down in this market, soaking in the sweet and airy flavors. talk to the vendors who have a lot of knowledge on these spices, and they will give you plenty of ideas on how you can use the various spices on offer. The vendors will also educate you in their own ubiquitous style on the history and the origin of many of these spices, and it is an interesting tale to take back. Interestingly, most vendors, though not of Indian origin, can communicate in Hindi, and most of them are enamored by the Bollywood stars. A wide variety of fragrant tea leaves from all parts of the world are also available in this market. You can learn all of these as you explore the souk. There is also a great selection of nuts, oils and dates available from the markets as well. Spices are sold both by weight and in packets. However, like other souks, if you are buying in bulk quantities, a little bit of haggling is an expected norm. Lots of Arabic spices are also on the offer. Saffron, one of the most expensive spices, is also available at the souk. It is interesting to see the orange hues of the piles of saffron strands kept in closed glass jars, which they very proudly make you to smell the aroma to vouch for its authenticity. A walk down the spice souk with its colorful and aromatic mounds of exotic collection of spices will be long etched into your memory even after you leave those winding alleys. It is indeed a delight to the senses. Kanchan Prasad, AIR News, Dubai.
India has started its campaign at the 13th South Asian Games on a winning streak. Indian men's and women's volleyball teams won their opening matches yesterday. In a Group A match, Indian men's team easily defeated Bangladesh in a straight set by 25-18, 25-14 and 25-15 in Kathmandu, Nepal this evening. In women's Group A match, India beat host Nepal in straight sets. The Nepal girls with huge home supporters gave through fight in the first set. However, India won first set by 26-24. Soon Indian girls bounced back and won next two sets by 25-12 and 25-16. Now in their last group matches, Indian women's team will take on Bangladesh while men will clash with Nepal. Though formal opening ceremony of the games will be held on Sunday, but some sports have already started. Over 2,700 athletes will compete with 1,119 medals, including 319 gold in 26 game categories. 499 athletes from India are participating in the biggest sporting event of South Asia. The closing ceremony will be held on 10th of December. The UN refugee chief has said Europe must help tackle a crisis situation in Greece, where roughly 5,000 child migrants live in danger of exploitation and violence. United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, Chief Filippo Grandi was talking to reporters in Athens after a two-day visit to Greece. Hundreds of migrants arrive on the Greek islands from Turkey every day, adding to roughly 39,000 already housed in island camps and 22,000 more on the mainland. Grandi said he found living conditions in the camps he visited on the islands of Lesbos extremely disturbing, with generalized tension often resulting in violence, especially against minors. Last week, the Greek government said it had failed to persuade other EU countries to help host around 3,000 of the children. Right groups have criticized Greece's new conservative government for its response to the situation. Greek officials have come under fire from political opponents recently for saying asylum seekers were not entitled to international protection if they do not come from war zones. Protests have also taken place in several towns in northern Greece in recent weeks to block attempted relocations of asylum seekers.
The European Union's legislature has declared a climatic emergency in a symbolic move aimed at increasing pressure on the incoming European Commission to take a stronger stance on climate change. The Parliament voted 429 by 225 with 19 abstentions to call the increasing environment challenges linked to climate change an emergency. The climate declaration was passed in Strasbourg during a European Parliament debate on the upcoming United Nations COP25 Climate Summit. The summit kicks off on 2nd December in Madrid. In a statement, EU lawmakers urged the European Commission to fully ensure all relevant legislative and budgetary proposals are fully aligned with the 1.5 degrees Celsius target limit on global warming. The resolution calls on the EU to cut emissions by 55% by 2030 to become climate neutral by 2050. Britain's governing Conservative Party complained to the broadcasting regulator after its chosen representative was shut out of a general election television debate on climate change. Channel 4 said their 1-hour live debate yesterday was for party leaders only, but Prime Minister Boris Johnson declined to take part. Cabinet Minister Michael Gove, a former Environment Secretary, showed up to represent the Conservative Party instead, but he was not allowed. Leaders from the main opposition Labour Party, the Liberal Democrats, the Greens, Welsh Nationalist, Plaid Cymru and the Scottish Nationalist Party took part in the debate. Presenter Krishnan Gurumurthy thanked the participants and added that the debate was for leaders only and their offer to Boris Johnson and Nigel Farage to discuss the climate emergency remains open. The general elections will take place on 12th December.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa reaches New Delhi on a 3-day visit to India. US President Donald Trump says US has resumed talks with Taliban. Former President of Maldives Abdullah Yameen found guilty of money laundering. And Supreme Court of Pakistan grants 6-month conditional extension to Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa. Stay tuned to our YouTube channel for more updates from across the world.